Hello everybody, today I'm going to highlight a couple pairs of Mezlan shoes as well as talk about the company. This pair that I scored at a thrift store, we're going to go through the full cleanup on. I'm going to show you another pair. One pair is Blake Stitched, one pair is Goodyear Welted. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the company and where it's come from here, okay? So let's go. Hello everybody, it's Robert Powers. 4.5 out of 5. My shoe collection. Some stains there. Get a nice lather. Here is the finished product. I'm not a professional. How tight this is though. A pair of Allen Edmonds torn apart. That to me is a proper mirror shine. So here it goes. And here they are finished up. Okay, so the pair of shoes that I'm actually going to clean up, a pair of Mezlans, and this is an Oxford style of shoe. Oxford means that the eye stays are sewn underneath the vamp. See the closed lacing system. The wingtip, the swoosh here, okay, makes it a wingtip. And this is woven leather. By the way, this isn't actually, you'd think it looks like leather that goes both ways, but it's really not. What they do is they take a sheet of leather and then they basically just cut slits in it, okay, then weave leather through it. So then what you have is an effect that looks like a basket weave with two strips of leather when it's really, it's a sheet of leather with a strip woven through it. But at any rate, the soles on these shoes are in very good shape, and you can see there it says made in Spain and the size 9M. By the way, with Mezlans, I'm guessing these are an older Mezlan shoe, just because I haven't seen a logo that looks like that. I come across a lot of Mezlans in the thrift store, which means they obviously must sell a lot of shoes, and they're very, you know, they're made in Spain, so they're very European style. They more have a slim, slender, sleek look. They also have some that are not necessarily sleek and slender, as I'll show you, but they're more of the European, more of the fashion forward design, very definitely not traditional. I think the quality of their soles are pretty good, just because they feel tough, and I find a lot of them where the soles are in very good shape. So that doesn't, I know that's not proof, but I've also read online somebody else said they use very dense leather on the soles, and a lot of them are Blake stitched, by the way. Okay, so there's advantages and disadvantages. You can see here the Blake stitch, there's the stitching. You don't see stitching on the top side because it doesn't come through the top, and I'll try to get this into the light. I've shown this in another video that I just recently released, but can you see down in there? You should be able to see there the white. See, those are the stitches. Okay, so in other words, what that means is these stitches go straight into the interior of the shoe. Okay, makes a sleeker, slimmer, thinner sole, but it's really not as rugged, not as easy to re-sole. Okay, so I'm going to clean these up, but first let me talk a little bit about the history of the company. Okay, so actually the first thing I always do when I get shoes is I actually put shoe trees in them. And I found that that's, you know, like you can see here, they're still a little bit smushed like the way I got them, but they're much worse. That's going to start to bring them back into shape, even if you just leave them that way. You know, then obviously I've removed the shoe trees. I'll show you why in a second, but I've also removed the laces. I didn't need to do that on camera. And now what I've got is one of the early parts of my process I've added in. Is basically this is just 50% isopropyl alcohol, you know, in a spray bottle that I got from Dollar General. And just give them a squirt or two. Okay, and now you don't have to worry about germs. Some people are really freaked out about that, but like I said before, these old shoes, you need bacteria to grow, you need moisture, and these old shoes are always bone dry. I've never even gotten a pair that actually smelled. Now, next part is the lid of the saddle soap. I've got a whole other video on saddle soap if you don't know what that is or how to use it. The tin, warm water in the lid, and then there I've got the saddle soap itself. This is just Kiwi saddle soap, and I've got a little brush that I use only for this. Okay, this is a Kiwi brush. I do not cross-contaminate because I don't want polish on this. Okay, so oh, by the way, I'm going to put the shoe trees back in now. Make sure I get them the right way. And these shoe trees are a little on the tight side, but that's okay. I kind of want them a little bit tight to, you know, stretch these shoes back out. So get the wet and a little bit of lather here. Or soap, I should say. That's going to create the lather. Okay. And I usually start with the left just to keep some kind of order. You can scrub pretty hard with this. You want to get anything off the surface because these shoes, you know, came from a thrift store. I don't know what's on them or what they've been through. They don't appear to have a ton of wax on them. But like I said, this is also disinfectant. And, you know, just going to clean them up real good here. So I'm going to scrub quite a bit in the weave. I've got a whole other video on saddle soap. Okay, so they're both done, and they've had a chance to dry out a little bit. And next, I'm going to use, this is Sapphire, and this is a Renovateur, and this is a mink oil-based conditioner. So we're going to put some nourishment back. Has an interesting smell. Smells like women's makeup almost, like a lotion. Smells very nice. I'm going to put some nourishment back into the leather. You know, this old leather can be very dried out, so it's a very important step for longevity. Just get a little bit on there. And probably have to rub a little bit more here because of the basket weave. I'd say it's very important here, right across here where the leather flexes. By the way, here's another tip. Older shoes, don't forget to get here, around the heel, but around the edge of the heel here. And I would even go so far as to try and get even not down inside the shoe there, but on that lip there, like right around here, the piping, okay, the leather right around there, because it's often going to crack, you know, get dry and cracked. You know, when people are putting their shoes on and they may not use, you know, shoe horn or something like that. So, right, that's going to really help with the longevity there. Okay, so there we go. So that one's moisturized. All right, going to let that soak in while I do the other shoe. And the mink oil's had a few minutes. The Sapphire has had a few minutes to set in, and I'm just going to, especially here because of the weave, I'm going to brush, and I'm going to brush this way, then I'm going to brush this way. I might even go at an angle this way, and then you know, an angle the other way, just to kind of make sure there's no liquid, you know, product. Okay. I think this also helps drive it into the leather. Okay. Now, to tell you the truth, if you have the time, I'm not going to take the time with these, but I don't have the time, but if you do, I think it's a great idea to let the shoes, at this point, you know, just soak in the nutrients that you put in it after the saddle soap and the, you know, the moisturizing, and that'll, you know, let them all set in. But, you know, if you let this set up a little bit, you can continue on like I'm going to. So the next step here is going to be to polish them with the Sapphire. So what I've got is a Sapphire cream polish, right? And this is the, I've been corrected on the pronunciation, so I guess the correct pronunciation would be Médaille. I took French and I'm 3 years, but I haven't done it in 20 years. Médaille d'Or. I think everybody in American calls it Médaille d'Or though, but anyway. But this is the soft cream wax, okay? I don't know if you can tell from the video, but it's not the hard paste wax out of a can. This is softer stuff, okay? I've got my old cotton t-shirt here. And just get a little bit on there. Okay. And a little bit more. And I'm going to start working it in. It is a little trickier being with the basket weave, I will say that. I feel like I have to press really hard to kind of make sure that it gets down into the low spots. Okay, so the Sapphire here on the left shoe has had a few minutes to set up here, dry up a little bit. It's winter time as I'm producing this video, so the air is very dry, so stuff tends to dry out really quickly in this time of year. And a nice horsehair brush here, okay? I keep one for darker polish and I keep one for lighter speed and pressure. Look at that. Let's continue. Okay, now both shoes have been polished with the sapphire cream paste wax. And now what I'm going to do is what's called the spit shine, just really more in the toe caps. You see here, you can see where they crease where you walk. You have to be careful. This stuff, the shiny stuff does flake off of there. You know, had a lot of videos where I show the spit shine. But I want you to see is look at the texture of the leather right now, if I can get in the light. Like look around the edge of the shiny spots and just look at the texture, and you'll see that the pores in the leather will fill in. And what I'm going to use on these, the sapphire, this is the mirror gloss. This is a very hard, this is mirror gloss. You can see it's already cracking, right? That's perfectly fine, but this is for just for doing a spit shine, right? And you can kind of take those little pieces, by the way, you can push them back down into the, okay. This is ideal time to do this. I can overload the rag because this is the first coat. I don't want too much on the subsequent coats, but so. Okay. And great, there's a piece of dog hair for my dog in that. But anyway, so I'm going to load it up. And this first coat, I will go all the way back. I'm going to cover the whole area. The next coats I will not. I don't want to get too thick. I'm going to make sure to try and get down into the, close to the sole there. This is just a first coat to cover it, right? Get a little more. Really want to load it on there pretty heavily for the first coat, okay? And like I said, I can go, make sure to get on top of the broguing there. Rub it in really good. Okay, now I'm also going to do the back of this heel too. Like I said, you're going to pretty much avoid the areas that flex. Okay, don't do multiple coats on the areas that flex. Okay, I'm going to let that set up and I'm going to do the other shoe. Okay, now I've got the little dish of cold water. Just take one drop. You see there? I don't know if you can tell. No, can't tell, but you just take one drop of water, right? And I've not put any more wax on this rag. This is more speed and less pressure. That's good for the first coat. It's a feel thing. You just got to get some experience. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess this up. You know, worst case scenario, you have to take the wax off and start over. But, you know, sometimes you may have to get a little more wax if it's too dry. Sometimes, you know, you need more water if there's too much wax. Like I said, not real hard pressure for the most part, but speed. I don't know if you can tell, it's just starting to fill in. It's still rough, but that's going to smooth out, okay? Okay, round two. A little bit more. And now I'm just going to focus on this front part, mainly. this, I lost track, is it 7 or 8? I don't know. And here's the finished results. I mean, I actually could go further with the mirror gloss. It's not perfect, but I'm actually kind of going to be doing the owner a disservice because I know he's not going to keep them up that much. But I'll cut in here a before. Not too shabby, huh? And notice the detail on the edge of the heels there. That wheeling, right? Got them bar laced. They could use new laces. New laces would really spruce these shoes up. These aren't bad, but they could use new laces. Hanger Project has some amazing, beautiful sovereign grade cotton laces. Here's a unique pair of shoes here that I wanted to highlight. Now, for example, what we have here, this model of shoe, it always prints the model of shoe inside there. I don't know how you pronounce that. Rovigo? I don't know how you would even say that in Spanish. But so this shoe is a split toe. You can see the split there. Split toe derby. Derby meaning it has these open flaps. And check out these laces with the wrapped leather ends on them. That's really unique. I have seen that before, but never in person. So actually, if you think about it, that means you really can't unlace the shoes without taking out that little stitch, okay? There's a little stitch holding the, you know, loop of leather on there. So I imagine if you unrolled that, that piece of leather would get wider and then narrower like that. So, unique feature there, obviously. And look at the detailing on the shoe. First of all, it's got double stitching all the way around. Very nice, very neat. Notice here on the moccasin toe, it's got a little, I don't know what you'd call that. I guess it would be the same thing. Is that piping? I know this is called piping, so I think that might be piping as well, but that little detail, just that little detail there. Now look at the welt. So this is you can see here where the welt starts right there and then goes all the way around the shoe. It does not stop before the heel. Since it goes all the way around, that is a 360-degree Goodyear welted shoe. But look at that. You've got wheeling there on the side of the heel, and we can see the stitching. It's just very wide. It's just very noticeable. You know, more wheeling, very, very a large wheeling around the edge. That's actually technically a storm welt. See the way that welt folds up? The original reason for that storm welt design was to protect water from getting between the welt and the upper. Obviously, it's so small it doesn't do much, but it's more of a decorative feature. You see the toe it's a little squared off there, right? And the sole obviously overhangs the shoe quite a bit, right? So the bottom side even here, if I flip it over, right? Look at the bottom side. So by the way, you're going to see this word quite a bit on shoes from Italy and Spain. Vero, okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, but Vero, so it's V-E-R-O, Cuoio, C-U-O-I-O. All that means is genuine leather, because I've seen people list shoes on eBay where they think that's the brand, because sometimes it'll just say that alone on the bottom. That's not. That just means genuine leather. I think it's the same in Italian and Spanish. I could be wrong on that. The Mezlans on the original soles always have the Mezlan logo like that in script, just like on the inside printed. And they'll always have the sole on the size on the sole too in this area here. So M is for medium. I think, I take back what I said. I do believe they probably do a wide. I'll double check that. But so the M, there's two ways that people will gauge widths basically. There's a standard, well, there's a few other ways, but the standard US system is that letter where D is a standard width. And if you go up to E, double E, triple E, that's wider. If you go down from D to C, B, A, double A, triple A, that's narrower. Or they just have N for narrow, M for medium, and W for wide, okay? And you can see here, it's got a quarter leather rubber heel. Notice there's black, I touched that up, but there's black around the edge of it. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nails in it. Okay, isn't that awesome? Beautiful pair of shoes, isn't it? This would be an awesome shoe for going out on the town. I could definitely see this where you're wearing like a pair of dark blue, like nice jeans, with some kind of odd sport coat, then some kind of maybe wearing a dress shirt untucked under it, and then these on your feet, and just awesome. Gorgeous shoe, isn't it? And look how the heels look when you get them polished up a little bit there. Doesn't that look good? So very nice detailing on the Mezlans. And obviously they're lined as well. You can see they're lined with suede on the back, and the rest of the shoe is lined, with leather. So I do not believe any of the Mezlans, have, like the cork filling. I honestly don't know what's in the middle, but they don't seem to have as much of that kind of cushioning. And I've never seen Mezlans where they really have a tremendous amount of foot indenting. So I don't believe they have that cork footbed. That's just a guess, like the Allen Edmonds do. But so for whatever that's worth, Mezlan, right? Made in Spain. In case you're curious, what do you do with suede? How do you clean it? Because it may get stuff on it. This is called the suede brush, right? This is called the suede brush. You just pick them up for a few bucks. And they actually have, I don't know if you can tell, the bristles, I believe, are actually made of brass, right? So you just, you get stuff on them, you basically just kind of brush them off like this. If you get a spot, you may do it in a circle, right? Because suede actually has a nap to it. That's really all you need to do with them. And finally here, just want to show you a couple more examples of some Mezlans, what they have. There's a pair of derbies with a perforated vamp, and you can see the rich color in the full grain leather. And as we zoom in here, do you see they are Goodyear welted? You can see the wheeling around the edge of the sole there. These shoes actually were picked up at a thrift store for $4, and you may recognize these videos from my 10 best thrift deals video. And just love this pair of shoes. Just awesome, beautiful, unique, without being tremendously obnoxious. There's a couple more nice shots of them. And we'll just let this run here. Next, I have a pair of woven leather Oxfords. So the Mezlans are the pair on the left. The pair on the right are a pair of Principe shoes. And again, in this shot, they're the pair on the bottom. Again, just a gorgeous, gorgeous shoe. Last shot here, they're on the left. So you can see that it has a cap toe without a medallion versus the black ones, which were a wingtip. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully that expanded your horizons a little bit, maybe turned you onto a brand that you had not heard of or didn't know much about. So everybody, again, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and God bless.